If you're holding Bitcoin right now, then I want you on board. Something big is happening with Kaspa. And while I'm not here to convince you to dump your Bitcoin, I am saying that this is a moment that you might not want to miss. Because if Kaspa does what I think it can do, then a lot of people will look back and wish that they'd paid more attention. Now, I know I probably sound like a broken record with these Kaspa videos. I've made quite a few of them recently. But here's the thing, I wouldn't keep talking about this project if I didn't believe that it was something really special. You don't have to agree with me, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to preach or to convert. I'm just sharing what I see and what I'm doing based on that. So let's clear something up right away. I haven't gone all in on Kaspa. This isn't some bet everything move. I still hold other coins such as ADA, Matic, or Pol as it's now called, and Kronos. These are all part of my portfolio. And I believe that they each have strong use cases and long-term potential. But if we're talking about pure upside, then the best risk to reward play right now, I believe, is Kaspa. Now, I actually sold all the Bitcoin that I had and started building a Kaspa position instead. Why? Because I did the maths. And even if Bitcoin hits $1 million right now, which would be incredible, that's still just a 10x from where we are today. Kaspa, on the other hand, could still 50x, 100x, maybe even more. And I'd rather be early in something with explosive potential than late to something that's already established. Now, over the last week or two, I've been swing trading Kaspa and gradually building my bag. And my personal target is to reach 100,000 Kas. Now, that's a number that I'm aiming for, and I'm being smart about how I accumulate it. I'm not rushing in, but I do think that the clock is ticking. Once this thing hits major exchanges and the wider public catches on, then the price action is going to look very different. So what is it that makes Kaspa so different? Well, first, it's the tech. Kaspa is proof of work, layer 1 blockchain, but it's not just a clone of Bitcoin. It uses a completely different architecture called a blockDAG, a directed acyclic graph, which allows blocks to be created and confirmed in parallel instead of sequentially. In plain English, that means it's fast. It means it's really fast. Kaspa processes blocks every single second and transactions confirmed within a few seconds with full finality. No mempool congestion, no long wait times, no need for a second layer solution just to make it usable. And all of that happens natively on chain while maintaining the security and decentralization that we expect from proof of work. And this is what makes Kaspa so exciting. It's doing something that Bitcoin simply can't do without compromising on the values that made Bitcoin great in the first place. But it's not just the technology that stands out, it's the way Kaspa launched. Now, when Kaspa launched, there was no pre-mine, no VC seed round, no insider allocations, no sketchy tokenomics where someone quietly owns 30% of the supply. Kaspa was a fair launch, just like Bitcoin. It was mined from day one by regular people. The devs didn't keep a huge stack for themselves. There was no airdrop, no celebrity hype, just a bunch of people building something that works with a long-term vision and a community that's growing rapidly. And let me tell you, the Kaspa community is one of the most engaged and grounded groups that I've seen in crypto in a long time. They're not just out here screaming for moonshots or just hyping up nothingness. They're focused, they understand the tech, and they're building for the long haul. Now, I'm going to say this clearly again. I don't think that Kaspa is going to get to $100,000 a coin. You know, I'm not going to get carried away. Bitcoin already owns that narrative. It's the store of value, it's digital gold, it's the asset that Wall Street is finally taking seriously. It's institutional now, it's mainstream, and it deserves to be. But Bitcoin isn't the only game in town anymore, and it doesn't have to be. Kaspa isn't trying to replace Bitcoin, it's here to complement it. It's expanding what's possible with proof of work. It's bringing in speed, scalability, efficiency, while still honouring decentralization and fairness. And that's why I think it's such a compelling play right now. And let's not forget, Kaspa is still flying well under the radar on the biggest retail platforms. It's made it onto Kraken. I said a couple of weeks ago I hadn't, which was a bad mistake because I do hold my Kaspa on Kraken, but it's not listed on Coinbase yet, it's not listed on Binance, and it's not listed on crypto.com. And when those listings happen, and I believe it's a matter of when, not if, we're going to see a wave of new interest and demand. Combine that with the fast emission curve where most of the coins will be mined within the next couple of years, and the setup for a serious supply shock is already in place. So to you Bitcoin holders out there, I say this with full respect. I'm not your enemy. I'm not calling Bitcoin outdated or dead. I'm still grateful for what Bitcoin introduced to the world. But I also see a new lane opening up, and Kaspa's leading the charge in that lane. You don't have to sell your Bitcoin. You don't have to abandon your convictions, but don't sleep on Kaspa either. At the very least, look into it, ask the hard questions, test the tech, read the white paper, watch what the devs are doing. Because if you've been in this space long enough to appreciate what made Bitcoin great, then you'll probably recognize that same spirit in Kaspa. Now, again, I'm not here to convince everyone. I'm just sharing what I personally believe, and what I believe is this. From where we are today, the question I had to ask myself was simple. What's more likely, a 10x or a 100x? And that's why I moved. That's why I'm building my Kaspa position. That's why I keep talking about it, even if it does make me sound like a broken record. Now it's just your turn to decide.